Rabbi Elazar, tell me, what do you think the impact of the coronavirus is having on Jewish practice and observance, both at the moment, but also in the long term?
So I think really on the short term, it's just quite difficult because our faith, it's very communal. It's very based on doing things together, and I think this is a kind of deep cultural and theological idea that services are together, and to read the Torah you need 10 people, and to get married you need 10 people, and to do all these things, and we just can't do that. And especially coming up now towards Passover, which is it's a festival that it's about family time and about telling a story to each other, right? So it's just hard that each person is alone, and I think many people are having a very difficult time with that. I can say that on the long term, I actually think that it's going to have quite very interesting effects, because I think that what's happening now is that Jewish faith leaders, and also just regular people, they have to find new religious solutions, new ways to be religious, and whether that is working with technology to create kind of new solutions that can then be used, for people that have a hard time to get out of their house, for elderly people or for handicapped people, or so that's something that we're going to see. And whether it's people learning how to be religious without their wider community, learning to be religious in a more individualistic way.
And do you think, I think it's a very interesting question. There are the technological challenges that everybody's facing, religious and non-religious, but then there's this sort of deeper theological question, if you like. What does it mean to be at home over a long period of time? What does it mean dealing with loss and grieving when you're isolated? These raise big questions. And what do you think Jewish practice and observance can do to help answer that question? Are we going to change as a result of this religiously?
So for me, the idea of my faith being a faith of a group and needing other people in order to worship God, in order to hear the voice of God, I need other people. So I don't think that's actually going to change. I think I actually feel it more than I feel it usually, because suddenly you realize how so many people and the synagogue in your community is a part of your spiritual experience. So I think, if anything, that's just going to make it much more clear to us when someday we're going to be all over this, that exactly how much we need our friends, how much we need our family, also in a religious perspective. I do think that the intensiveness of being alone at home, and especially for us now going through this time of the holidays, it does. I know a person needs to take more responsibility on his spiritual world, because he doesn't have the structure that usually does it for him, and you can just join along and float. And I think that's something that that we're going to get out of this, and that we're going to see. And also, and I mean, theologically, the basis is there that even though it's Judaism, it has a structure and it's about a society, it starts with the individual responsibility of a person to wake up in the morning, to do his, even though he doesn't have synagogue, to find a designated place in his house, to do the prayers, to find his way to keep Passover as much as he can in these circumstances. That's something that I mean, that we have a lot to say about, and we're going to see it expressed more and more.
So as co-Jewish chaplain here in the University of Cambridge and beyond, you regularly have student requests, queries, concerns. What sort of concerns are being addressed to you at the moment? And are there passages or texts that you would refer them to help them reflect on this time of isolation?
Yeah. I think the main thing is that people are feeling lonely. Especially, so we have some Cambridge students, some of them went home to spend this time with their families, but some international students are kind of stuck in Cambridge. They're completely alone now for weeks. And their main thing is the question that comes up is the loneliness. Like it's just hard. And again, doing through Shabbat and through Passover, how are they going to cope with it? What I usually send them to, I talk to them. I don't get into passages from the Talmud, but I talk to them about the maybe two central figures in the Jewish theology. So we have one which is Moses. Moses brought down the Torah, and Moses is functioning only in the structure of a peoplehood. He's the leader of a peoplehood, and he brings the Torah. And in the Torah, we have many kind of stories saying the Torah could only be given to a peoplehood. They needed each and every one of the people of Israel in order for them to receive the Torah. So that's how we usually live our life. But then we have Abraham, right? Because Abraham, in a world that he was completely alone, he had no one to share his faith with. Because and that's always how it is. Someone who starts, who initiates, he's all alone in that place. And what I urge the people to do is I tell them, now it's time to connect to the story of Abraham, how he was completely alone in his world. He was the only Jew under the sky. And it's a different kind of work, but it's also, I don't know, important to be alone.
Yes, there's a connection there, isn't there? And as you were saying, you were also talking about the understanding of community, the understanding of connection with one another, but also a neighborhood. What does it mean to be a neighbor today? And perhaps we can end with your reflections on whether COVID-19 is going to impact on our understanding of what a neighbor is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I see it already in my community and in kind of my personal life that first of all, I have neighbors which I didn't know that now I got to know them just because suddenly when you open the door and you see someone, so you wanna talk to. But just I mean, the amount of responsibility we have to take for each other, it changes. Yeah, I know it changes everything. It's just new connections between people, and suddenly you realize how the vast majority of the people that maybe sometimes in regular day-to-day life, they don't seem that nice. Everyone is actually so nice and so caring and so wanting to help. So that's a big blessing that we can take.
And will that last, Elazar, or will we return to type?
You know, if I was a scientist, I would say it wouldn't last. But I'm a rabbi, and we pray for the Messiah to come. So if I can't have faith that this will last, so I need to retire. So yeah, I have faith that this will last.
Well, you're too young to retire. Rabbi Elazar Symon, thank you very much.